Have you ever wondered what happens in the brain when you speak two or more languages? If you're a bilingual person, maybe it happened to you that you wanted to say, for example, hola, but instead you say hello, or you maybe dream in English occasionally or in another language. That's why many people believe that bilingualism can create confusion or slows down thinking, but science has shown that it's the opposite. Bilingualism actually brings positive effects for the brain. But what is bilingualism specifically? Bilingualism is not only about speaking two or more languages in a perfect way, but it's more about understanding the context in which you are and being able to adapt to it and use the language according to that context. There are people that are bilingual from birth and people that become bilingual later in their lives. That's why bilingualism is not a fixed category, but it's more like a spectrum. So, what happens in the brain? When you are bilingual, both languages are active in your mind, even though you are using only one. Bilingualism is like an exercise to work out the brain in the same way we work out our bodies when we want to build muscles, for example, because the brain is working on choosing the correct word, the correct sound, and the correct grammar. So it reinforces the executive control system in the brain that is in charge of memory, concentration, and multitasking, and the prefrontal cortex of the brain that is in charge of cognitive functions and decision making. Also, bilingual people are more flexible when they have to switch tasks because they have worked that skill when they have to switch the languages according to the context, as I mentioned before. Bilingualism also delays diseases like Alzheimer's. It's not the cure for that, but bilingual people show symptoms later than monolingual people. So that's why it delays, but it's not the cure, as I said. So when we switch the language, we also switch expressions, humor, and tones, because the language we use is tied to the culture. So that's why bilingualism is not only about grammar, sounds, but it has the emotional part being worked too. So what is bilingualism? Bilingualism is not confusion, but it's more an act of coordination and empathy. It's a very necessary skills, especially nowadays that all the world is connected, and it's probably very necessary to have a second language in order to communicate with the rest of the world.